Peter Obi, the man Nigeria almost chose, his hidden story. In 2023, something happened in Nigeria that had never happened before. Millions of young Nigerians, frustrated, hungry, and desperate for change, united behind one man. They called themselves the Obidient movement. They filled stadiums. They trended globally. They sent money from London, Houston, and Toronto. For one brief electric moment, it felt like Nigeria was about to be rewritten. Then the results came in, and the dream collapsed. But the story of Peter Obi, the man at the center of that dream, is far more complicated than his supporters have ever been willing to admit. Tonight, the silent mentor tells the full hidden story of the man Nigeria almost chose. Who is Peter Obi, really? Is he the incorruptible, frugal governor who saved Anambra's money and transformed its economy? The man his supporters describe with almost religious devotion? Or is he a calculating politician who has changed parties 4 times, stretched the truth about his own record, and is now once again repositioning himself for another run at power in 2027? And the question that his most passionate supporters have never been able to answer honestly is if Peter Obi is everything they say he is. Why did Nigeria's judiciary, its electoral commission, and its Supreme Court all look at the evidence and still say no? Peter Gregory Obi was born on July 19, 1961, in Onitsha, the commercial heartbeat of Anambra State. He attended Christ, the King College, and later studied philosophy at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He built a successful business career before entering politics, running a trading company and building a reputation for financial discipline that would become the cornerstone of his political identity. He became governor of Anambra State in 2006 under the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, after a landmark Supreme Court ruling restored his mandate following an earlier removal. He served 2 terms totaling 8 years until 2014, and his supporters to this day describe those 8 years in almost mythological terms. The governor who didn't steal, the governor who saved money, the governor who delivered. But here is where the hidden story begins. Because the legend of Peter Obi as governor, while substantially real, has been carefully curated, and some of the most celebrated claims about his record do not fully survive contact with documented evidence. In June 2025, Peter Obi gave a widely circulated interview on Arise TV. He stated categorically that he left office in March 2014 without owing any contractor, supplier, pensioner, or public servant. He added that he left behind funds sufficient to cover salaries for 3 months. The clip went viral. His supporters shared it millions of times as proof of his extraordinary fiscal discipline. There was one problem. According to the Debt Management Office, the most authoritative data on subnational debt in Nigeria, Anambra State owed an external debt of $30,323,574 and a domestic debt of $3,025,797,046 Naira as of December 31, 2013, while Peter Obi was still in office. The Guardian Nigeria fact-checked the claim and found it false and misleading. Now, in fairness, some level of state debt is normal and not necessarily a sign of mismanagement. But the specific claim that he left owing nobody anything is contradicted by official government records. And this matters not because the debt was catastrophic. It matters because the entire Peter Obi brand is built on the promise of absolute honesty and transparency. When the foundation of that brand contains documented cracks, Nigerians deserve to know. But perhaps the most revealing aspect of Peter Obi's hidden story is not his gubernatorial record. It is his extraordinary journey across Nigeria's political parties, and what that journey reveals about the man behind the movement. He served as governor under a PGA. He moved to the People's Democratic Party. He became Atiku Abubakar's running mate on the PDP ticket in 2019. He abandoned PDP and reinvented himself as the Labour Party candidate in 2023, positioning that move as a clean break from the old guard. After the 2023 defeat, he eventually left the Labour Party and in December 2025 formally defected to the African Democratic Congress, joining a coalition that included former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. His political journey across parties is at this point difficult to describe as anything other than restless. He served as governor under APGA. He moved to PDP. He was Atiku's running mate in 2019. He abandoned PDP and reinvented himself as the Labour Party candidate in 2023. And now, having left Labour, he is allied once again with the same Atiku Abubakar he previously ran with under PDP. Peter Obi himself has addressed this directly. He stated, "Every party I left, I was pushed to leave. The truth is, those who are close to me will one day tell the story of how I left those parties. Perhaps, but Nigerians preparing to vote in 2027 cannot wait for that story. They need to decide now." And the pattern, 4 parties in 15 years, is a documented fact that deserves honest examination. Here is the twist that the Obidient movement has been struggling to process since December 2025. The man they rallied behind is the anti-establishment candidate. The clean break from old politics has now formally allied himself with Atiku Abubakar, the same Atiku who has run for president 6 times. The same Atiku whose own record on corruption allegations stretches back decades. The same old guard that millions of young Nigerians explicitly said they were rejecting when they joined the Obidient movement. Peter Obi's explanation that the alliance is about defeating Tinubu and saving Nigeria may be politically logical, but it is a direct contradiction of the moral framework he used to build his movement. You cannot simultaneously be the candidate of new politics and the running mate of Nigeria's most persistent old politician. That is not an attack. That is a mathematical impossibility. Think about the young Nigerians who powered the Obidient movement, the university student who skipped classes to campaign, the young professional who donated money she could barely spare, the first-time voter who registered specifically because Peter Obi made them believe their vote could change something. These were not naive people. They were intelligent, passionate Nigerians who looked at a broken system and decided for one extraordinary moment to believe it could be fixed. They deserve more than another cycle of hope and disappointment. They deserve honest answers about the man they trusted. Because the real story of Peter Obi is not simply the story of one politician's strengths and contradictions. It is the story of what happens when a generation's hope gets channeled into a single human being. Human beings, no matter how decent, will always be more complicated than the hope projected onto them. That is not Peter Obi's failure. That is the nature of politics. And Nigeria's young people deserve a movement that is bigger than any one man. Peter Obi is 62 years old. He is running for president again in 2027. The Atiku alliance is forming. The ADC coalition is building. The Obidient movement, battered but not broken, is deciding whether to follow him one more time. The questions the silent mentor has raised tonight are not reasons to reject Peter Obi. They are reasons to examine him the way every Nigerian should examine every candidate who asks for their vote, not with blind devotion, not with cynical dismissal, but with clear eyes and honest questions. Because Nigeria's problem has never been a shortage of people promising to save it. Nigeria's problem is a shortage of citizens willing to hold those people accountable before the election, not after. The silent mentor, because history whispers. We listen. Subscribe now, because the next secret is the one being decided right now.